Good morning, students. Let's begin with our Unit 1 revision. I have already explained to you all that Unit 1 is bifurcated under three parts, that is, Introduction to Service Marketing Environment, and Consumer Behavior and Positioning of Services. We will first revise Introduction to Service Marketing. These are the reference books that you can refer. The best book for service marketing, which I feel, is that you can go for Zitumil and Bittner, and also you can go for Christopher and Lovelock book in our library, which is very good for service marketing. Now, in the Unit 1 students, what all we need to study is we need to understand the meaning, most importantly, the characteristics of services, the factors, the purchase process, the challenges, and the role of service economy, and at the last, good service continuum. Let us see what we mean by services. I have already told you all, as per American Marketing Association, services are activities, benefits, or satisfaction which are offered for sale or in connection with the sale of goods and services. Again, I repeat, according to AAA, services are activities, benefits, or satisfaction which are offered for sale or are provided in connection with the sale of goods and services. Then the question arises in your mind, are services different than the goods? I have already told to you all, yes, they are different. Then how they are different from the goods? Because of distinct characteristics of the services, right? What are the distinct characteristics of services, students? You can see on the screen. That is intangibility, perishability, inseparability, heterogeneity, ownership, simultaneity, quality of measurement, and nature of demand. Due to all these factors or the characteristics, you can see that services are very much different than the goods. Intangibility, you all know that the services are intangible. They cannot be seen, tasted, felt, heard, or smelled before they are bought as the physical product. For example, teacher providing a services, that is intangible, right? You can't feel, touch, or taste the services being offered. Then the second is perishability. Services too are perishable like labor. Service has a high degree of perishability. It implies like how goods can be stored, services cannot be stored. Again, example, a train that leaves the railway station, can I say full or half, that means service of the empty train which are unused, or the seats which are empty, can I say they are perishable. Then we come to inseparability. Services cannot be separated from the service provider. In fact, the production, delivery, and the consumption of service takes simultaneously. Then we come to variability or heterogeneity. Services are highly variable. It is almost impossible to have the same service for the same seller at the second time. The character of the service makes it difficult to set a standard for any kind of services. For example, a receptionist of a hotel cannot extend the same kind of smile to all customers during all her working hours. Then we came to ownership. In the sale of goods, after the completion of the process, the goods are transferred in the name of the buyer, and he becomes the owner of the goods. But in the case of services, you are not going to find this, since services are highly intangible, perishable. For example, a consumer can use personal car services or medical services, or he can use a hotel room, swimming pool. However, the ownership remains with the service provider. Simultaneity. Services cannot move through channel of distribution and cannot be delivered to the potential customer and user. Thus, either users or are brought to the service provider, and or they go to the service user. Example, the tutor has to go to the students to teach, or the student has to come to the tutor. Quality of measurement. A service sector requires another tool for measurement. We can measure in terms of service level. It is very difficult to quantify the rate of the total purchase measure. For example, we can quantify food served in hotel, but the way waiters serve or to the customer, or the behavior of the staff, that cannot be ignored while we are rating the total hotel process. Last is the nature of demand. Generally, the services are fluctuating. During the peak, the tourist season, there is an abnormal increase in the demand of the services. Therefore, while identifying The features, we say the services, one cannot ignore the nature of demand. So these in very short I have explained the characteristics of services. Then students, there is one more question in your book, the implication of the characteristics of services. Implication simply means how the same characteristics which I have explained to you, how they are important and what are the strategies that a marketer adopt. Once you have understood the characteristic, you can very well go through the answer and you can understand. Now here in these slides, I have just given you the examples which you can see. I have also added a YouTube video after each topic, so you can also have a reference video for the same topic. This was the answer that I was speaking about, implication of the characteristics of services. Then we have seen how, what are the characteristics, we have seen what are the characteristics and what are the challenges we face. Then students, we came something known as product good service continuum, right? Good service continuum I have already told to you all. Here we are studying in goods and service offering are being intermingled, right? In different proportion. This can be termed as an the continuum of goods and service or product or service. Good service continuum is a tool that help us to understand the difference and the similarity and the relation between the goods and the services. Marketers can differentiate goods from services with the help of concept of good service continuum. So see, can I say today with the increasing competition and with the entry of lots many competitors, whether it be manufactured goods or whether it be services, it is very much essential for the customer to differentiate between product service continuum, right? So here is the answer. We can see the dividing line, as I told, between goods and service is rapidly getting thinner and thinner as the business are discovering the marketing of goods and services is more dependent on each other. So with more and more similar goods being produced, it is a service offer that have become the main distinguishing factors. Companies marketing goods or production can be categorized in the following way depending on the a goods or service mix that they offer. See, first is companies offering only tangible goods. Some companies offer only tangible goods. They do not offer services. Example, toothpaste, salt are purchased by customer based on the pure direct benefit that they receive from the consumption. Second, services along with tangible goods. In case of goods which are technological dependent, the customer need training and knowledge about how to use that particular goods or service. In such case, services are delivered but along with tangible. Examples such as washing machine, water purifier, computers. We also need the knowledge about how to use that particular product so we can get the service. Goods and service in equal measure. The goods that are accompanied in equal measure by service make it a good experience for the customer. For example, when a person chooses a restaurant, he looks into the quality of food, cocktail, and also into the ambience, decor, hospitality, and the efficient service. Service accompanied by minor goods. Here people, for example, people traveling with an airline on the basis of comfort, speed, journey, you can see still tangible factors remains the important. And last is pure services. Example, visit to a consultant, gymnasium, all this. Then yeah, here you can see in this slide, students, I have written three concepts. Search quality, experience quality, and credence. See, what does it mean? Search quality, students, mean this is the quality that we hunt or we search before making a purchase of product or services. Then we have experience. It is like after or during the consumption. And credence simply means post purchase. But it is very difficult to evaluate certain service because we are not the expert. For example, you went to a doctor or you went to a surgery, and how are you going to do post purchase evaluation? Because you are not aware whether the treatment given to you, you cannot judge in short whether the treatment given to you was right or wrong. The search is before the purchase, experience is during the purchase, and credence is post purchase. But almost all those characteristics which are very difficult by the buyer to evaluate. Then students become classification, last answer of this particular first chapter, most probably classification of services. Classification of services in this we have already seen. The services are classified on the basis of end user, on the basis of degree of tangibility, people-based services, expertise, orientation towards profit, and by location delivery. Like this, the services are being classified on the basis of end user. You can see individual user, you can see business to business user, you can see industrial user. Three classification. Then you can see on the degree of tangibility, you can see highly tangible, highly intangible. Then you can see people based service, the services where high contact is required and the services where low contact of people is required. Then you can see expertise, highly professional and non-professional. Then on the basis of profit, you can see commercial organization, and you can also find NPOs, NGOs. Location, you can see certain services are provided at customer location, certain services are delivered to providers location, and certain at the both the location, either at the customer or at the provider location. These are the examples that you can see. Then we come to a very nice concept of service marketing triangle. Service marketing triangle, you can see it is a dynamic model where three things are interlinked together to develop, promote, and deliver the services. The key players here are the three corners of the triangle is company, customer, and the employees. And the three kind of relationship or the marketing that you can see is external, internal, and interactive. What is external marketing? Marketing between company and customer. Internal marketing between company and employees, and interactive between customer and the employees. Here is the diagram that you can see that I explained 3 points: company, employees, and customer, and three types of marketing: internal, external, and interactive. See, interactive marketing, students, is also known as moment of truth or the service encounter, because this is a moment where the interaction between the employees and the customer take place. This is most important because it creates among the customer the first impression about the company. If the employee fails to deliver at this level, then the all efforts made towards establishing relationship with the customer would be wasted. Interactive marketing is most important part of the service marketing triangle because it helps a organization to build a customer loyalty, repeat purchase through this system. So the interaction is two-way, since employee also gain feedback and also customer can tell what kind of service is required by him. Service encounter, I told, it is known as moment of truth. It is the same, it is a situation where customer interact with the service employee. There can be different types of encounter: remote encounter, through phone encounter, face to face. And it gives an opportunity to the employee to build a trust with the customer, to emphasize on the quality of the organization, to have a brand identity, and to increase repeat purchase and to generate customer loyalty. Now again, you can see here video on service marketing is there. Then we come to the students, something known as a purchase process of services. You know how the purchase process of services is initiated. First, a buyer should have a need, then he hunts for an information, then he probably evaluates all the alternative, then he purchase, and at the end there is post-purchase. Then we have seen role of service in the modern economy. You can see the contribution of services in the GDP is increasing year by year. Also, you can see certain services, particularly IT, contributes in the growth of GDP, not only with the developing country, but also in the case of developed country. It also provides a good rate of employment and the tax source of income. Then we can see role of services in the modern economy. It provides a wider utility. There is shift in the economy from the manufacturing sector to the service sector. It has also gained important after LPG policy. Now you can see the burden on the agriculture sector has been reduced, and the service economy is contributing in the national income. It also provides the job opportunities. The resources are utilized up to maximum, and service tax becomes an important source of revenue for the government. See, now the reason why the growth of service is very important, economic and affluence, the economic condition, the kind of income, the disposable income, the individual, can I say, spending habits all have changed. Changing role of women. Women are playing dual role, so the demand for services have increased. Cultural changes, the growth in technology has led to demand for variety of services. Development of new markets, hospitality, now people are healthcare consciousness, people are more having more knowledge about the market, about the competition, about the can I say, also migrants are coming in the cities for the jobs, so the demand for services increase. Then service marketing environment, we all know it is divided into two: internal, external. Internal consists of all those factors which are internal to the company, right? And external, all those which are external to the company. Again, external divided into two parts: micro and macro. You have seen the micro factors and the uh, macro factors. Macro factors, students, I always tell you to remember with a pastel kind of a word: political, economical, social, technological, legal, environment. Then you have seen what are the factors that lead to changes in the service marketing environment. That is government policy, social changes, changes in business trend, IT, and convergence. And the last can I say topic is consumer behavior. What are the factors affecting consumer behavior in services? You can see cultural, social, personal, and psychological. These are the factors which affect the buyer intention in buying the goods or the services. Now, types of buying decision. We all know there are four types of buying decision: complex buying behavior, variety seeking buying behavior, dissonance buying behavior, and habitual buying behavior. There are three kinds of buying behavior that you can see here. Complex buying behavior, you know, when the consumer goes through systematic steps, three steps of buying process. Variety, here customer is interested in checking the variety of product and services. Dissonance means here customer buys the products, but he sees a very little difference in the brands. And habitual, certain product and services students we only buy out of our habits. This is the example that you can see in the slide. Then we come to students consumer expectation. I have already told consumer have a different expectation: desired and adequate. Desired expectation of the service is the customer that customer hope to receive, and adequate is the level of service that a customer may accept. So here you can see desired service expectation, adequate service expectation, zone of tolerance. Now, what is zone of tolerance? The zone of tolerance is the variation that a customer is willing to accept between the desired and the adequate services. Again, I have told to you the zone of tolerance for all the individual is different. Anything, any kind of service that falls below the adequate service level, the customer will be dissatisfied. It will lead to service failure. See, you can see here, students, if the service that a customer wants to receive, if he receives an adequate service, he is satisfied. If he receives desired service, he is delighted. But anything that he receives below adequate also, he is dissatisfied, right? He is not happy with the service. So what are the factors influencing customer expectation with regards to services? You can see the personal needs, service intensifier. You can see situational factors, customer self-perceived service role, predictive service. How are you going to manage the customer expectation as a service provider? You are supposed to ensure students three things. Ensure promise reflect reality. Whatever you are promising to the customer, you see that you are delivering that particular aspect. It has to be realistic. Like while making the promises to the customer, company should be realistic and deliver the actual service. They should not make false or the, can I say, glorified promises to the customer. Over promising or undermines customer tolerance and trust, and in other words, exaggerated promises are more harmful, so the and customer becomes more disappointed. Second is performing the promised service reality. Customer wants service to be delivered as promised. Therefore, reliability, among all the service dimensions, I've already told that reliability is the most important aspect for every customer. Performing always a service organization should see performing the promised service right at the first time, because in case of service sector, what happened, first impression is the last impression. This is also an indirect benefit, right? If you provide the right service, the customer relies upon your services and he makes the repeat purchases. And the last is what, communicating effectively with the customer. Companies should regularly communicate with the customer. This helps in understanding their expectations and concern, and provide an opportunity to explain that they receive what kind of service they receive from the companies. For example, if a bank is working on Saturday, or if a particular shop is also open in the evening, or if someone has extended their working hours, it should be need to be communicated to the customer. See, service encounter we have already discussed. Then we have service failure. Is the service failure also part of unit 1, students? Mm. Yes, yes. Service failure is also part. So one more concept we will see here. Can I say, student, service recovery? Service recovery, can I say, it is a systematic efforts by the firm in order to correct the problem, or in order to, service recovery is the next step to the service failure. In order to solve the problem of service failure, service recovery comes into a picture. In every organization, can I say, things may happen or the negative impact may take place. So in that case, whatever things go wrong, the effective service recovery is required for resolving the problem and handling the customer if the customer is not satisfied. So what does service recovery involve? Students, solving customers problem quickly, giving customers something, a proper compensation to the customer, and always we see that whatever we have promised, that is delivered to the customer. If not, if the customer is not satisfied, if the service failure takes place, then we have to, students, do follow up, right? See, these are the some pictures that you can see when the customer is annoyed, angry, what is the reaction. So what we have to do for the effective service recovery? Apology. See, whenever students things go wrong, the service personnel must acknowledge. Once you admit the mistake that something has gone wrong, and if you ask for an apology, can I say, apology is made, it is customer appreciate and customer is happy. Yes, the service firm recognizes the mistake and they are actually admitting that. Second is urgent restatement. Anytime if the things are going wrong, the service personnel must make an immediate and the honest effort to get the things back into proper service. Agar if things go wrong, everyone understand, right? It doesn't mean that you leave the customer unattended, customer is annoying, you don't pay any attention. It should not be like this. You should first attend on priority basis and see what things have gone wrong. Empathy, we know, we should be able to understand the feelings and the emotions of the other party before anything is done to redress the grievance of the customer. It is always advisable to understand what exactly customer wants. Symbolic attainment, it is the symbol or a gesture. Can I say, when a customer is often made to wait for more than expected time in the restaurant, the manager should offer a free drink. Can I say, our facial expressions also communicate that we are actually feeling sorry, or we are just pretending, or we are not sorry. So of course symbolic atonement should be there. And last is the follow-up. There may be certain service failure, can I say, where immediate service recovery cannot take place. It may have to go through a certain process or step. That in that case, the service provider should keep the customer updated about where at what stage the recovery process is going through. Then again, the guidelines, you can see few points similar. We have to admit the mistake. We should not be defensive. Can I say, agar we act as a defensive, it simply says that we are trying to hide something, right? And again, I told last answer, urgent restatement. That means we need to act fast. We should not argue with the customer. We should accept the situation, right? We should not debate as a service provider. Show that customer you understand the problem. That is the empathy. Give customer always benefit of doubt. Can I say? But customer should be treated as they have a valid complaint, and we should be, can I say, service provider should be kind enough to give them refund or compensate, and see always if what customer is saying is right or wrong. Acknowledge customers feeling, empathy wala point, clarify the service recovery process. There may be certain service, right, which would involve a lot of steps, so you need to clarify to the customer. Keep customer informed about the progress. In case any service recovery have a number of steps, then we need to inform the customer. Give a proper compensation and perseverance to regain the customer uh, goodwill. Can I say, when customer are disappointed, one of the biggest challenge for the service provider is to regain the goodwill, right? In order to retain the customer, in order to generate customer loyalty, we are supposed to make a systematic efforts, give a exceptionally good recovery so that the customer is satisfied with the service organization, right? In this diagram, you can see various service recovery strategy. Then we have students something known as buying rules. Now here buying rules, you can see a customer can be an initiator of a demand, he can be an influencer of the demand. Gatekeeper is the agency that filters the information, decide to buy product or services. Buyer is the actual person who buys, and user who buys. Now again, while explaining to you, I have told now this 6 roles can be played by one person, can be played by 3 person or multiple person. For example, a child may initiate a demand, parents may influence particular that, friends or the news channel or the service personnel may act as a gatekeeper. Then your father may decide whether to buy or not. Then he may give a money and tell you go and buy to, you go and buy, but you can be an actual user, or you may buy for your sister. So all the different roles can be played by one person or by the multiple persons. Service encounter, I have already told. The important elements of service encounter is customer should be there, service provider, the delivery system, and the physical evidence where the service is going to be delivered.